Hi, welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to be talking to you about some tips and tricks for using the printable templates by Jenofeve Designs. I'm going to link her YouTube channel, her Etsy shop, and her Facebook group in the description bar below. I thought I would talk to you guys about how I do my guidebook, about how I use the templates without a printer, and also about how to cut multiple fancy edges. A lot of her designs have fancy edges like this, and I'm not the best at precision cutting, so I've come up with a couple of tips with that I thought I would talk to you about as well. So let's get started. My guidebook, I am so impatient to hurry up and get to work with the templates that my guidebook really is for those who are impatient like me. Jenofeve does a beautiful job on her guidebooks, and you guys really should go check her channel out and look at her guidebook and how she does them. But for me, this is how I've done them all, and it works for me, so I just thought I'd share it. There's nothing pretty about it. It's just a standard binder from, you can get them at Walmart or any office supply store, and then the sheet protectors. So all I do is I have the entire guidebook printed onto regular copy paper, and then I have the template printed out on a heavier weight cardstock. And that is really important if you intend to use these without a printer, because you're going to use them over and over and over. So in my guidebook, what I do is on the front side, I have the guidebook page. And on the back side, I have the corresponding templates. So in this example, this guidebook is for page 2 main base and page 3 main base, and on the back side I have the page 2 and page 3 main base, and that's how I do my entire guidebook. So I cut these out as I go along, and then I score them. It is important to note that if you are going to use these without a printer, that you will need to make sure that the scores are all coming up toward you. So that's really important. The other thing that I wanted to point out to you guys is I have been on the templates themselves putting the information from the guidebook. I really don't think I'm going to do that anymore, because I always refer to the guidebook to find the inserts and mats, etc. And the guidebook is so well thought out and done that I just think it's a waste of my time to write that information on the template as well. I think in the future what I'm going to do is only put down the name of the printable and the corresponding page. And the reason that I want to do that is just in case my template gets left out somewhere out of my guidebook. That way I will know exactly where to return it in my guidebook. So that's how I do my guide. Really simple, but it's been effective with me so far. And actually, I'm just going to leave these templates out, these 2 templates out, so that I can demonstrate how I use these without a printer. I don't know why I can't talk this morning. So I'm currently using black cardstock, and on my printer, black ink printing on the black cardstock, I cannot see it. So this was a necessity for me to figure out how to use these templates without a printer, because even with readers, I just simply can't see the lines. So I do want to tell you, and I want to demonstrate to you, that it is completely possible to use these templates without a printer. You will need to take it to an office supply place and get it printed the first time. This is the Everlasting page 1 design by Jenofeve. I will link that video below so that you can take a look. But this is her design on her page, and this is me using the templates with without a printer. I use the templates on their own, and as you can see, this is exactly the same as Jenofeve's design. So let me go ahead and demonstrate. Real easy, you guys. Working with this black cardstock, I will just line this up, which is hard because, you guys, I can't get my head over the top of this, or I'll put my head in the shot. Once you get it, you really need to keep your hand and really steady this, and you're going to have to move your fingers and your hands around to make sure that this template does not slide around at all. Once you start tracing, you got to make sure this template stays put. So then all you're going to do is just take your pencil and you're going to trace all the way around this template. Now, I've done this a few times. When I first started, it slipped and I had to start over and reline it up, and now I've pretty much gotten it down pat. But if you just go slow and use your hands and fingers to keep this template in place, it really works out. Now, the trick is, you still aren't finished even though you've gone around the whole edge. You got to pull these flaps up wherever they're at, and you got to also draw a line there. So no matter what the template is, wherever the flaps are, you got to lift them up, and you got to draw that line there too. Otherwise you're going to be totally confused about what to do. Alright, so here is the template, and here it is drawn onto the black cardstock. So you can see my pencil lines are easy to see, and they're really easy to cut out. So this has really worked out well for me on black cardstock. The next thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about, the page 2 that we've been working on, I have not completed it. It has, the main base has this fancy edge like this. And it's actually 3 templates with this same fancy edge. Okay, as you can see, this is the main base. So I was really having trouble. I want this to look perfect, and I was really having trouble getting that to work out. Because I got the first template, so then you take the second template and you line it up with the template before you have glued them together. Before you have constructed anything, you just get all of the pages together, all of the templates together that have that fancy edge. And you do these one at a time. And you line it up, and then you hold it. And then you just very carefully cut this out. You may have to bend the paper. See how I'm using my thumb to bend the paper to hold it in place. And you may have to even come up here and bend the paper. You got to be really patient with this because it does want to slip. You got to be really patient and just go nice and slow. And this is hard too because I'm trying to do this with the camera, and that makes it hard because I can't get my head over the top like I normally would. And the lights that I normally use throw a shadow, so I can't really use those lights. So that's the reason you see me struggling with this. But you just bend the paper, grip it, take your time, and see, I know I'm coming out of frame, and it's because I need to get my head over the top to look at that. But you just take your time, and then you come out with a nice clean edge on both. Then I would take my third template and put it right over the top of this and follow that same instruction. And as you can see, mine turned out really good. Now, if you find that the paper is slipping too much and it's really bothering you, you can use binder clips or paper clips to clip those templates together as you cut at the same time. I have one last tip, and I'll be right back. So I don't have the nice white background here anymore. This is actually my nasty, gritty mat that I use all the time. This is a self-healing mat. You guys can get a self-healing mat anywhere. I don't think it really matters what type you get. You can get them at Hobby Lobby or anywhere else. This is just a tip for people who maybe don't have it in their budget to get a scoreboard or bone folder, or don't have those tools handy and available to them. Also, I just use this. I find myself doing this more and more. Besides dragging my scoreboard out, it's just easy and quick, and it works. So I just use a ruler. You really could use any ruler with a nice edge, and a stylus. Now my stylus has 2 points. One is really, really fine. I don't know if you guys can see that, but one tip is really fine, and the other tip is a little bit bigger. This is my favorite stylus, and you can pick up styluses at Hobby Lobby or online. You just take your ruler and your stylus and just run it right down that line, and I can get a really accurate score because I can get right on top of that pencil mark, and you just give it a nice score with some good pressure. And as I said, this is just a self-healing mat, nothing special. Alright, and this is the last one. Okay, so then you just fold up on that score line, use your bone folder. If you don't have a bone folder handy, in a pinch, use a popsicle stick. It'll still give you a nice score line. You just have to be careful that it doesn't leave marks on the rest of your cardstock, but it does work. So there's my template, and I've scored it, and there you have it, my tips and tricks. I hope that helps you guys out. Stay tuned for next time, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Bye now.